to another Vlogmas video. Thank you for joining me again on my channel. I appreciate you guys being here with me, sticking with me during Vlogmas and throughout the year. Now, are you guys ready for part 2 of how to make $100 in a few hours? Well, let's start. First of all, I'm just giving you a range of 100, but I've seen people, other Uber Eats driver, who make probably like $200 to $300 a day. Now, a day, I don't know how many hours they've worked, maybe 8 to 12. I'm not sure how long it takes them to make that amount. I personally don't work those hours. I see it as a side hustle. I don't see it as a full-time job. So I know that one time I met an Uber Eats driver. He showed me his phone, and that's what it was. It was close to $300, and he said it was just for that day. So it's possible. If you want to take it as a full-time position, more power to you. You have the freedom to do so, and that's what's so great about Uber Eats, is that you can set your own schedule. You can even work with your family. The reason why I started this was because I'm no longer working at the job that I was working during COVID due to the safety reasons, and I can bring my kids with me. I sometimes go Uber Eats driving with my mom, and we have a ball, or I take my kids with me. So I like the freedom that it gives me, and then at the same time I can make some side hustling money. So let's get to it. I have like approximately 10 tips to make at least $100 in a few hours. Number 1, go to an area where there is high-end restaurants, 3 to 5 star restaurants. Why? Because the people who are ordering from those restaurants are usually used to visiting those restaurants, and they're high tippers. What I mean by this: when I first started Uber Eats, I was picking up every order. I was picking up every order that I received. The majority, 80% of the orders that I received were from fast food restaurants: McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell's, Wendy's, and those restaurants were paying very low. I will get like $5 a drive, $3 a drive, $2 a drive, and they would not tip me that much. They would tip me less than $5. Why? If you was to go to a local restaurant in your community, you would tip maybe $5 to $10. I don't know how much people will tip. But if you go to a high-end 3-star to 5-star restaurant, which a meal is going to be very expensive, you're expected to tip more. The same way you're expected to pay more for your food, for your meal. So you want to go in the areas where these high-end restaurants are. And keep in mind that you are considered I like to say I'm considered a mobile waiter or waitress. So consider yourself that. If you are a mobile waitress, if you're a waitress and you work in a restaurant, you're going to do everything you need to do in order to get a good tip from your customers, correct? Right? So you're going to make sure the food is good. You're going to make sure you bring the food in a timely manner. You make sure you attend to your customers. You are going to act like you are a mobile waiter and waitress. And you're going to take this job seriously. Because see, my thing is, no matter what type of job you have, how low you might seem it is, or how high you have, whatever career you're in, any job that you have, you should always take serious. Any job. It could be a little job that you think that may not be nothing, or a high job. Whatever job it is, always take it seriously. So I consider myself a mobile waitress. So I'm going to make sure I do the best I can to be this great mobile waitress so that I can get high tips. I've received from $50 to $100 tips in one ride. So it's all about the service. It's all about how you provide the service, how quick you bring their food, how warm their food is. There's many tips. So tip number 1, go to where the high-end restaurants are. You don't need to pick up, don't feel obligated to pick up calls from McDonald's, Taco Bell's, or any fast food restaurants. I did at the beginning, I no longer pick up those calls. Why? I think I'm too good for that. And don't take this seriously. I just like to joke around like that. I think I am too good for McDonald's calls. I think I'm too good for Taco Bell calls. Because I figured the system out. I figured how to make my money in a shorter period of time. So I'm not going to waste my time picking up McDonald's and Taco Bell calls when it's going to take me forever to make a certain amount of money. And I'm not going to be out all night. So my mind state is, how can I make a good amount of money within a short period of time? So I am going to areas where there's high-end restaurants. Also, it's good to pick up calls for deliveries at resorts. I live in the Florida area, so I pick up a lot of Disney calls, and it's good because usually when you travel, you have money and you provide better. Those people are going to give you a good tip because they're visitors. So that's another thing. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Make sure you get familiar with the location of where you Uber. So I always try to Uber in the same areas. I have found an area where it's high-end restaurants, it's luxury homes, and these people are the ones that have been tipping me great. I'm sure there's other places where you get good tips as well, but so far from where I've been Ubering at, that has been the best area for me. Everybody's going to have a good area where they think. I spoke to someone who said that they like to be around, they like to Uber around colleges because the college students sometimes don't have transportation, and they help you with the orders and they give you good tips. I personally am not, the colleges are far from me, so I'm not going to travel down to a college just to make good tips. So I have found an area that's best for me. Make sure you find an area that's best for you, and try to stay in the same area, because the more familiar you get with the area, the more you know the streets. So what happens when you know the streets? You're going to make the deliveries faster because you know where you're going. You're not depending too much on the GPS that Uber Eats give you, because the app is not always reliable. So sometimes the GPS in the app will not send you directly into where you need to go. So if you're familiar with the streets already, you'll know how to get to the customer's home quicker, or you'll know to get to the restaurant quicker. And the faster you make the deliveries, the faster you make more deliveries, the faster you make your money. Now, tip number 3. Do not accept any Uber Eats orders that are less than 7. I say 7 or 8. I do not. At first, I would accept all the calls like I told you. It was $3, $4, $5. I would accept it. I do not accept anything below 7 or 8. Actually, I try to stay in the $10 area because that's the ride, and then with the tip, it'll be more than that. So I try not to accept any low rides. I do not decline them either, because I've heard that if you decline a lot, that it looks bad on your behalf to Uber Eats. So when the order comes in, I just let it ring and ring and ring and ring until it goes away. And sometimes what happens is that then the next one is going to be paying you higher. I've noticed that happens to me sometimes. Like I'll deny one, and then the next one is higher. And then it's higher and it's higher. So what I do is I just let it ring until it goes away, and then I pick up the next order. I never, ever pick up anything less than 7. Not no more. That's tip number 3. Tip number 4. Do not pick up any orders that are longer than 25 minutes away. When you first start Uber Eats, they don't give you too much information. I don't know how it works now, but when I first started as an Uber Eats driver, they didn't give me enough information. They didn't tell me where I was going, how long the distance was, or anything. But now, I'm sorry, my hair. But now I get all that information. So I do not accept anything that's longer than 25 minutes. Like I said before, I am trying to make my deliveries fast so I can go home and finish. Everybody wants to go home, right? So I want to make a certain amount of money for today. If I set my mind to make a certain amount of money today, I want to do it and go home. So I don't want to be out all night. I don't know how other people work it, but I don't want to be out all night. So I do not accept less than $7 or $8, and I do not accept more than 25 minutes away from where I am. Next tip, always check your customers' orders. By this, I do not mean to go in the bag and make sure everything's in there. You can't even do that. They seal the bags. Some places don't, they forget to seal it. But by what I mean is, check your order before you go into a restaurant. Check to see if there are drinks. Sometimes, the restaurants forget, and they may forget to give you a drink. So if you check the order before you go in, you can verify with the restaurant staff that everything's in the bag, and you can make sure you get the drinks that you need to get. Remember, you are a mobile waiter or waitress. So if you worked in a restaurant, you will make sure that you are bringing the correct food to the table. This is the mindset that you need to have to be a successful Uber Eats driver, to have a successful side hustle if that's the case for you, or a successful full-time position, flexible freedom, a job with freedom, to have another job if that's what you want to do, or to have the freedom to just be at home and make your own schedule. Who knows? Okay, so the next tip, find the time and the schedule that works for you. As we're talking about schedules, find the time and the schedule that works for you. I have tried to work different times of day. I've tried in the morning, which sometimes I did get calls for breakfast. I've tried in the afternoons. I've tried in the evenings. For me, it works best in the areas that I've been to, the evenings. So I usually work around 5 o'clock for a couple of hours. That works for me. Now, I'm sure it depends on the area where you live. I'm sure there's places that maybe breakfast is more busier than dinner. I don't know. These are the things you need to test out the first couple of days that you work with Uber Eats, so that you can see how you can maximize your wages, how you can maximize your money. So that's another tip. Now to the next tip. Make sure that you keep the food at the best temperature. So what I mean by that is that Uber Eats does provide you with Uber Eats bags, storage bags, which will keep the food warm or cold. I don't have one of those bags. What I do use is the Publix bags that they sell in Publix. If it's ice cream, I put it in there. I have to go pick one of those Uber Eats bags up. It's just I don't have an Uber Eats location next to me that I can just go and pick up supplies. But because they do provide you with supplies, they provide you with face mask and hand sanitizer and all that. So I do that. Like if I have ice cream, I make sure I have the AC blasted in my car so that ice cream won't melt. I put it in the Publix bag. If I have warm food, I have in the summer, I have been so hot, I'll lower just one window to make sure it stays warm. If it's cold outside, I do not lower the windows. I don't want the food to be cold. I want the food to arrive at the customer's house very warm as I can allow it to get there. Because I've heard stories from customers that say, oh, my food was cold, or because sometimes I have reached a level that now they give me 2 calls at one time, 2 orders. So I pick up 2 orders for 2 separate customers. So Uber Eats tells me which customer to drop off for first. So sometimes the second customer says, well, I don't want I'm worried about my food getting cold, and whatever the case is. So you have to reassure them that their food will arrive warm, and you have to make sure it is. Because like I tell you, mobile waiters and waitresses, you're not gonna deliver cold food to the table because the customer is gonna complain about it. So you're not gonna do that. That's another thing. Once you hit another rank, in your status, in your Uber Eats status, like I was telling you in the old video. If you have not seen the previous video, go back and check the previous video. It will give you more information on the app. Once you reach a certain status, they'll give you more than 1 order to pick up. So instead of going to pick up 1 order, you could pick up 2. Always pick those orders up. Why? You're getting double tip at the same time. what happens is that they give you 2 orders and they're not that far away from each other. So if one order is 10 minutes away, the next order is going to be like 2-3 minutes from the first order, which was 10 minutes away. So it's like you're getting double tip for the same amount of distance. So make sure you take the 2 orders. Always take those 2 orders. Next tip, follow the customer's notes. And when you're going to make your delivery, there's a section where the customer leaves you a note. Either they want you to knock on the door, they want you to meet with you at the door, or they don't want you to knock on the door, or they need extra sauce with their order. Always read the customer's notes and follow it. The majority of the customers that I get, they don't want you to knock on the door. They just want you to leave the food there. They're tracking you on the app, and they'll know when you drop it off. I still leave them a note through the app, and I don't knock on the door if that's what they tell me not to do, and I just leave the food there. Others want you to knock on the door and leave it there, because a lot of Uber Eats drivers don't do that. They don't read the notes, so they don't follow the customer's instructions. So and there's some very few now with the COVID situation. There's very, very few that actually want to meet you at the door. So what that means is that they want you to knock on the door and wait for them to come to the door and pick up their order. So there's very few of customers that want that now due to COVID. They don't have no contact, so they rather you just leave the food at the door, which what I said in the last video is great, because you can move on to your next delivery. So that works out. Okay, guys, and the next tips are very important. Communication. Make sure you communicate with your customers at all times. So when I pick up their order and I'm leaving, I send them a message. I'm on my way with your order. You want them to know what's going on with your order, right? It's like back again to the waitress at a restaurant. You just don't leave the customers and they'll come back. You come back and you ask them, you let them know what's going on with their order. You ask them if they want refills. You have a good personality, because that's what is going to get you the tip, right? If you're in a bad mood, or if you're angry, or if you're disrespectful, you're not going to get a tip. So you're going to communicate with your customers. In the app, you can send them messages. So send them a message, let them know that you have their food, that you'll make sure it stay warm, and that you are on your way to drop it off to them. That's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is, after I drop off their food and knock on their door, ring their bell, whatever the case is, I leave, and then I send them another message. Your food has been delivered. Thank you so much for your order. Happy holidays. I was even thinking about making some thank you cards with candy canes and attaching it to their order, to their bag. And little friendly things that they will appreciate, and they will know that you really tried hard to bring their food to them in a good condition, warm, and that you deserve a good tip. So everything that a regular waiter and waitress, I keep bringing this back because it's very important. A lot of people, Uber Eats drivers, just think they're gonna go make deliveries and call it a day. Take your job seriously so you can make that money. You know what I'm saying? So communicate with the customers. If there's traffic, let them know that there's traffic. If something went wrong and you have to go back to the restaurant, let them know. Keep them informed, and they will respond to you. I get a lot of response of people telling me thank you so much, I appreciate you. And you also get rated. So, and they rate you according to how you communicate with them, how you drop off the packages, and all these ratings are what give you all the rewards in the Uber Eats app. So you got to make sure you're the best you can be as an Uber Eats driver, and you will benefit money wise and rewards, and it's just good. You don't want to order food and then it comes to you and it's all cold. It's like, what's the point of that? Or it's all you mixed in together and they dropped it on the floor, who knows, or it's missing something. I wouldn't want that. I mean, I myself order from Uber Eats a lot, and because I like the other side, to see how it is to be the customer. And I know I have high expectations. I want that food to come to me in great condition, not open, not tampered, warm. And so I know what I expect as a customer. And so that's why I try to provide the best as the driver and the person who's in charge of their order. So communication, guys. Don't be afraid. And so the last tip, work during boost times. Look at your promotions. What I mean by this is on the Uber Eats app. And remember, I did discuss the app and I did review the app with you guys in the last video. Go back and check that video if you have not so far. But in the last video, I did go through the app, and there's a section where it says promotions. And what that means is that during certain times or days, during some days, they pay more. So like I know, like during the holidays, let's say Halloween that just passed, on Halloween day, from like, I don't know, I'm making up a time, let's say 4 to 8, they were paying $2 extra for each order. So if you pick up an order that's, let's say $20, then you're getting paid $22. Then the next order they keep paying you extra $20. Sometimes it's $2, sometimes it's $4. So you're maximizing your amount there. You're getting free money just for working those hours, because those hours are so busy during holidays. Not a lot of people work during holidays. I personally don't, because I have a family, but I know that there's people who can. And during those times that people don't want to work, they want to make sure that they have workers, so they pay extra. So not only are you getting paid your order, your route for the delivery, you're getting a tip from the customer, and then you're getting the boost, the extra money that Uber Eats is giving you. So that is the best time to work. So guys, I'm going to leave you here because I have to get to work myself. But I want to let you know that I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. If you want more videos like this, because I do have other side hustles, make sure you comment down below and leave me a message. And I will definitely work on those for you. Thank you for joining me for Vlogmas. And because we are in the Christmas season, I'm going to post here a video of some of the homes that I visit during my Uber Eats trips, and show you how lovely they are decorated. And my code, if you would like to join Uber Eats, my code will help you join faster. And if you have any questions, you can always leave those questions down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today, and bye guys. Stay safe. This one is beautiful. Spiral decor going up. Here's another one. Beautiful home. Simple decoration on the trees, but beautiful. How beautiful these houses are with the two nutcrackers in the front and the Christmas trees.